Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 71.
71.
Should be 72, but somebody's plane was behind schedule last week.
It's true.
What
It's
happened
true.
last week?
So
Tell the audience why we didn't have an episode.
I went to the Redwoods with Lindsay. She'd never been there, and it's like, if you guys haven't seen it, it's like otherworldly. It's amazing. And the propeller, I guess, was like fucked up. The plane I was supposed to take back. So yeah,
So you were stuck there an extra night?
stuck there an extra night, which
So did
wasn't
that
too
make
great.
you miss a connecting flight or what?
Yeah, like, so because it was like a deal, so it's Alaska Airlines, who I have never had a problem with, but because I guess I got it as part of a deal, they're like, it's not transferable, so you have to wait, or you can like, here's the deal, we'll sell you a direct flight to Kansas City for $940. I was like, wait. So and then I had to fly from like Oregon to Seattle. Wait, no, Medford, Oregon to Portland, Oregon, Portland to Seattle, Seattle to Kansas City.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That sounds totally not worth it. That was a weekend getaway?
Yep.
Yeah.
Classic travel.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So,
What's
what's going on with your with your house, dude?
I've been remodeling. So we had, and we'll get into this, I guess. We got a little segment later for this, so I'll save it. But a real quick overview. My wife got a really good deal on new flooring for the house. So
Is it
we
the
jumped
flooring in that video you posted to Twitter, or is it just that was just some gift?
No. That was just some random.
Okay.
We got some really nice, like real hardwood flooring put in on our house. And if you guys don't know, it's ridiculously expensive to get real hardwood floors.
I bet.
Like we're
I
talking,
don't have it, so.
we're talking Diablo 3 money.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Oh man, $130?
Yeah, right. So we got it like we got a super good deal on it. So we jumped on it, and it's destroyed my life, man. I feel your pain when you move now, like times a million, because I can only imagine. Like this is just one little thing.
Yeah,
you know?
man, I can't.
So it's crazy.
Especially if someone's got like a fam and all that. Like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's just all the stuff you accumulate that you have to get rid of. That's the problem.
That's why,
Last
like, you
week,
come to my house, it's like, it looks like no one lives here.
Yeah, you threw everything away.
I literally don't have anything.
Nice.
I just have like a table.
Last week's poll, 2 weeks ago poll.
Yeah.
We asked the question.
Hopefully this works.
We said if Diablo 3 were going to get a new class that didn't necessarily break the mold, what archetype would you prefer?
Yeah. And it was beefy melee tank type, high damage mobility squishy melee type, mage / spellcaster type, supporting role / healing type, minion / summoning type, ranger / bow arrow type, and totem / traps type. What do you think you would want, and what do you think won?
I would want a beefy melee tank type.
Okay. Like a crusader, but more fun, maybe?
Yeah, like a crusader, but yeah, what more fun? No shield. I just want 2-hand weapons. You know what I mean?
I do like sword and board. It just like, it has to look like evil.
Yeah. I want a Death Knight really bad. That's just 2-hand weapon. I'm stuck on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People like glass cannon. I'm gonna say glass cannon 1, which is the second option in my opinion.
High damage melee type?
Yeah, we'll say that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I would go with too. Because like Monk doesn't speak to me at all. Like maybe the DH from World of Warcraft. Pretty sick.
Yeah, mobility would be really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see what won. Woo, all over the place. Okay. Hey, look at that. We were right. 32% of the vote said high damage / mobility squishy melee type. Wow, 25% of the vote said totems / traps.
And traps, huh? Man,
that's interesting. I guess because that doesn't really exist, right? There's the mage fire
traps,
thing.
but they kind of suck too.
Yeah, that's true.
They never did anything with them. I don't feel like.
Yeah, 12%.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, 12% beefy melee tank type. So it's like right in the middle. Ranger bow and arrow type. I mean, thank God. We already have the DH guys. Mage spellcaster type. Only, I expect this to be higher. Only 9% of the vote. People like their mages.
I mean, mage kind of covers it pretty well, though.
True.
You know?
Wizard, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Too much classic.
Supporting role/handling type only 7% of the vote, and minions 4% of the vote. Wow. I guess I feel like people feel like Summer or Necro and Witch Doctor cover that pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, people just
Usually
hate
people
Necro,
love
you know?
minions though, which is kind of surprising. People
I
don't
think
hate
Necro
Necro.
does a
How
good job.
fucking dare you?
It's a love or hate, man. It's like one side or the other, it feels like.
But yeah, so before we ask this next question, this just happened like today. And it's hotness news in the Blizzard
Super hotness.
universe. So if you guys don't know, and so I wanted to contextualize this before we ask this next question. Basically, during the Asia Pacific Grandmasters broadcast, the guy that won, like I guess the two guys that interviewed him, he showed up and he had like goggles and like a face mask on, which like if you guys aren't following like Hong Kong at all, like the social justice in Hong Kong, it's like they're banned from wearing that basically, like anything that covers
So
your
like, I
face.
knew nothing about this until
Really?
today.
Wow.
I did not know this Hong Kong thing. Like I live under a rock, I guess.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research to figure like what's going on. I didn't,
Sure.
So
But yeah, and so I guess it was I haven't seen the interview, but I guess it was kind of awkward that the two interviewers like tried to cover their face, but basically what ended up happening is Blizzard revoked like basically the fact that he won. They took his earnings away. They banned him from competing for 12 months, and they fired the two people that interviewed him.
yeah. And I read transcript. And I don't know if it was accurate, but I read a transcript of what the conversation was. And the reason the announcers got fired is because they at the end of the interview, they said, say the 8 words. And I guess there's a thing that's like, it only translates to 7 words in English, but in, I guess whatever dialect of Chinese it was, it's 7 or 8. I mean, but it says something, and I forgot the phrase, but it's basically the phrase that stands for that Hong Kong revolution thing. And so that's why they got in trouble is because during the whole interview, they kept kind of like trying to get him to talk about it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, and I don't think a lot of people, from a lot of the stuff I read, it doesn't seem like people understood that aspect of it.
I didn't get that part either.
Because you had to like actually read the translation. Now, the translation I read could be total bullshit because I can't understand what they're saying. So I'm going based off of what other people have said. But
yeah. So Blizzard made a statement. They said, we'd like to re-emphasize tournament and player contact within Hearthstone esports community from both players and talent. While we stand by one's right to express individual thoughts and opinions, players and other participants that elect to participate in our esports competitions must abide by the official competition rules. And they disabled comments on it. See that?
yeah, man. So again, let's not. Okay, so this is a poll, and we'll discuss this next week.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about it now? I don't want to influence the poll, and at the same time, I've only really had one day to educate myself, so I'm really not going to say a whole lot because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I have a feeling, but I'm afraid that I'm not getting both sides of the story too.
We can wait.
You know what I'm saying?
Do your fucking research, dude. Get out from under that rock. Get out of your kitchen.
No, I mean I did. Like I actually before we even decided to talk about it on the podcast, I was already just out of my own interest because my brother and I were talking about it today. He sent me a link. I woke up this morning, I looked at my phone. It's like 7:30 in the morning, and he had already texted me a article on it. I'm like, oh shit, what's this?
But yeah, so the poll for next week is based on that, and that's why we wanted to get into it first. Is what is your stance on the Hearthstone controversy? Option 1, neutral. Option 2, hey man, business is business. Option 3, Blizzard's ruling on this is disgusting. Those are 3 options. We'll talk about it next week, assuming we're both here.
Yeah.
But man, honestly, like I don't know if it's because we took a week off, but we have like so much Diablo juice to talk about.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice couple days.
Couple weeks, I guess.
Couple days.
First and foremost, the BlizzCon virtual ticket rewards were like a couple weeks ago. Or mentioned, I think, right after the podcast.
Glaringly missing something there, but go ahead.
So if you guys don't know, like Overwatch gets actually pretty cool
Yeah.
skin to make you look like
That's dope.
I don't know what the other guy's name is.
That's for
Illidan?
Zenji.
Illidan. Yeah,
Is that
Genji.
Zenji? It's got the sword.
Genji, yeah.
Genji, yeah.
And then Tyrande. I'm sorry, lore fans.
Who's the girl?
She's like the night elf chick. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but what's her character?
Probably the healer, right? What's her Mercy?
No, is it? That'd be dope.
No, Symmetra. Sorry, Symmetra.
Oh, Symmetra. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are 2-player characters I don't play that much, but damn,
Genji's
that
the best,
Illidan
bro.
skin is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
though.
it's nice.
I love that.
Her song, Shock of All Shocks. You get some juice.
Perfect.
Mysterious
Okay.
legendary card, which is nice. Heroes of the Storm. I don't even know what this is. A spray? I don't know what that means. I don't know how that game works.
Heroes of Storm ever.
Yeah. A skin for some units, it looks like, which is
Yep.
pretty cool.
Skin for your unit.
It actually looks pretty good.
Unit skins confirmed.
Units. And then much more, and in the subtext of that, it says more BlizzCon virtual ticket extras are in the works, including a pair of wings for Diablo 3, PC and Mac version only. Stay tuned for more details.
Okay. Are they not showing us because they're not done?
Right?
Or are they not showing us because it's a spoiler for Diablo 4?
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to vote. I'm going to be super optimistic.
Here we go. ThaPChild's building that hype.
And I'm going to say it's for Diablo 4. They can't spoil it.
So a cosmetic
How
for
could-
Diablo
how could
3
they
that's based
not?
on Diablo 4?
Yeah, I mean, they gave us WoW shit. They gave us an Illidan transmog, for God's sakes. You know what I mean?
True.
Nothing to do with Diablo. You know?
But it's not like another game in Diablo 3. It's like the next iteration.
It's going to
of
have
Diablo.
some tie-in. It's got to have something.
I don't know,
I mean, you telling me they're not done yet? Like, how could they advertise that and they're not done? Like, I would be like, you can't have an artist whip that up in 2 days. Like, hey, we're putting the flyer out Monday. Next Monday, you got a week. Get them done. Like, I just don't see. It's gotta be spoiler, man.
So yeah, my
Or another
honest,
title. Yeah, another title. It could be Overwatch 2.
see my head immediately went to like maybe there's actually stuff in Diablo 3. And like something that would be
new
like
expansion.
druid related that
But how could they have druid wings? Like,
I
it's a
don't
set of
fucking
wings.
know,
Like, what
bro.
could you really spoil with a set of wings?
I mean okay, so to play devil's advocate, the other thing that immediately popped in my brain is like, well, they don't have anything, so they're just like working on something that squeeze in because like they didn't want to give away like the same like Tyrael wings and just like a different color or something like that because people would freak out.
Yeah.
That was the other thing that popped in my head.
I mean, so what do you, let's back up just a little bit.
Sure.
What do you think about all these cosmetic items being attached to a $50 virtual ticket?
Yeah, so there's been some uproar on Reddit.
There's a little pay to skin.
Yeah. But, I mean, as someone who plays so much PoE, like, I don't really think twice about it, I guess. I wouldn't go out of my way to pay for the cosmetic, so I'm just, like, getting it as part of my BlizzCon pass anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm probably the worst person in the world to ask, but...
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, the only game to me that would really make me spend the money would be Diablo. If the Diablo 3 cosmetics were super awesome, then I would be like, okay, I'm going to buy it.
But say this cosmetic is super awesome. Would you buy it for Diablo 3 still? In its current form and assuming we did get nothing else?
Okay, so I didn't get the collector's edition Diablo 3 that had the wings.
And
You
stash?
can that you can still buy, right?
Sure.
For like $600
Right.
on eBay or whatever.
Right.
I want it, and there's been many times where I've been like, this is in the past. There's been many times in the last 3 or 4 years where I've been like, I'm gonna spend like I'd see it for $350 or something. I'm like, I'm gonna buy it because I really want the wings. Is it worth it? Absolutely not. And I didn't do it. But 50, if they were cool enough wings, $50, maybe. It would have to be dope. They'd have to be the
I don't
best
know,
wings
man.
you've ever seen.
And
in Diablo,
if
man.
Diablo in its current form, like assuming we just don't get anything else, like what would we do? I don't know. I
But not
it's
now.
always it.
In its current state,
Okay.
no, because I don't play it enough now. You know,
Sure.
like, and I'm sure, if you're a fan of mine and you follow, then I haven't played Diablo since this weekend the season launched because there's just too much other good stuff out there right now.
Sure.
I mean, there's not enough content to keep me coming back. I hope that changes in BlizzCon,
Sure.
So,
But yeah, pretty interesting stuff. At least, I think, last year we got nothing, right?
nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we got a pet.
Do we?
Yeah, we got a pet. It's a mini Act 3 boss, Asmodan. Little Asmodan, baby Asmodan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the year before. I feel like one of the years we didn't get anything, but I don't know.
I think it was 17. Yeah, maybe 17. I think maybe it's been pets for a couple of years, actually. I think I've always given a pet, maybe. But
Yeah. Huh. But yeah, something maybe could be in the works based on this. One of the things that's actually not on the schedule, but we should really quickly mention in towards BlizzCon is, so if you guys don't follow Quinn has confirmed for BlizzCon, which I think says something.
it says a lot, I feel like.
Because I guarantee, and we've talked about this before, and you, I think, totally agree, but I could see how it play out where they'd be like, hey, the Blizzard team or the Diablo team invites you to come check out, BlizzCon this year. And he's like, I mean, if it's Immortal, like, I don't really want to fly out. And so I would assume that maybe he knows a little bit more than the average person that was invited.
Well, I don't know any details on his stuff, but I would assume.
Sure.
I mean,
Right?
he's going to GGG like 2 weeks after.
Yeah, ExileCon.
GGG Con or ExileCon or whatever they call it. I don't know. I'm not into it, but he's going to that 2 weeks later. So he's going to fly from New Zealand all the way to the United States to California, and then turn around and fly back, and then go to
Hang on.
ExileCon.
Hang on. Who has to do it worse? I do. I got to fly to LA.
So I would assume. I mean, I'm going to go on a limb here and think that Blizzard probably is going to cover his trip.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I don't think there's any question about that.
I would think that that's the case.
Yeah.
Right. He's big enough that they're like, well, come on, we got you, dude. So for them to do that, they got to show something. And I'm sure he's going to be like, no, if it's Immortal, I'm not down.
Sure.
Like,
I think it could be even something just as vague as like we promise it's not Immortal. Like, we can't even tell you what, but it's not like mobile.
I don't think so. I don't think he would come for D3 stuff either. Let's say that they're like, we're going to announce a new D3 Druid. You think he would come for that?
I mean, wouldn't you? Say you played like Destiny, and Destiny like bam picked up for you like crazy, right? And you're playing the shit out of Destiny. Yeah, exactly. So I think he would. As popular as he can play, be playing other games and successful and stuff like that. I would still think you'd have that like little place in your heart, for Diablo 3.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see, man. My hype train's always going, dude. I think we're gonna I think we're getting it. If we don't, I don't even know what to, I don't know. Anybody that goes to BlizzCon this year for Diablo and we don't get Diablo 4, they're gonna be crushed. Like, absolutely crushed, man. It would have to be some sweet Diablo 3 goodness. I mean, we're talking full-fledged expansion, new endgame.
Yeah. I just can't wait to see the look on your face when they.
Well, we're gonna record it, man. We're gonna. I'm gonna do a montage of 2018 and 2019. So I'm gonna have our 2018 faces where we're like, because I have that moment on camera. I've never shown anybody yet. I have it on camera, and then when the 2019, when it's Diablo 4, we're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna have it, dude. We're gonna like go back and forth. That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty good. In other news, so Brandy's been like actually really active the past couple of weeks again on the forums. And one thing someone brought up, and it's something we've talked about in the past, but it's cool to hear like a kind of official stance on the subject, is buffing rather than nerfing, right? So there's obviously some things in Diablo 3 right now that need to be nerfed. I think that most of us can agree on that. But she says, and generally speaking, that's been the approach. No one likes to be nerfed. It never feels great to take away power or to be the one who's lost it. In particular, it feels bad if you've missed a patch cycle or two and come back and feel weaker than you remember. And we especially try to avoid mid-season changes and try not to mess with leaderboards, of course. However, there are times where data and community sentiment indicate a nerf is necessary. We're looking at a couple potential nerfs that might come in the next patch, which is promising. There are also times a bug gets fixed and it results in a nerf, even if the original strength was never intended. There are dozens of factors that might change our approach over time because the game is changing too. It's folly to say we only ever intend to buff. We try to bring classes up to other classes, but there's a limit out to that as well. We're aware of concerns and power creep, and that's something that we're always trying to keep an eye on. But okay, so there's a lot to unpack from that.
This is something that I heard a long time ago. Wyatt said this in an interview one time.
Yeah, he said it to us too. Like when we were talking about that, when I was like giving him a lecture or whatever, he was like, "Yeah, you can't take away people's power."
The first interview I ever remember seeing Wyatt in, this is what he was talking about. He literally talked about how they never want you to log in and have your character feel less powerful than it was last time you logged in. Mm-hmm. And I agree. I think it's a great philosophy, but there's got to be a way to wrangle, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a good feeling, but I don't know. I feel like before BlizzCon last year, there was like an idea that we were going to effectively eventually achieve balance in Diablo 3, and then post BlizzCon last year, it's like that was just thrown out the window. So I don't know. I would have said last year, like, well, yeah, like just nerf it. You know, we gotta have balance, but like now, balance isn't a thing anymore. So it's like, do whatever you want. But I have to say, like they say, we're aware of the concern of power creep, and it's something we're always keeping an eye on. People have been able to run 150s for like 3-4 seasons in a row. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're not keeping an eye on it. Like, it's out of control.
I don't see how you could just nerf certain things at this point.
I would think it would even be welcome.
Lots of things.
Well, I think it would be welcome to those players that are pushing those 150s. If they nerf, like Lon, I can't even remember the name of it because I haven't played it so long. But Starpack, yeah. I gotta think that those players that are pushing those 150s and farming those 150s would actually almost welcome it, because at least it would change their meta.
I think, yeah. I mean, we've talked. I think we need an entire squish across the board. We almost need a reset. Shit's just crazy now. Yeah. It's just the numbers are so big that you have to truncate them to even make sense of them.
Sure.
If you see, if you take the truncating off and you just actually see the numbers on the screen, your brain can't even process it. There's so many zeros. You're just like,
yeah,
I hit for a lot. It was a big number.
Sure.
A lot of zeros.
You become numb to it, right? Like we talked about that. Or someone's like, you just hit for this trillion gazillion. And we're like, oh, I didn't even know.
You just hit for infinite.
Right. But yeah, so we know, like we've talked about time and time again, there, it feels good to like feel less powerful. And there's something to be said about that, like the players that aren't maybe as hardcore as, you know, us, or even people that are more hardcore than us. But like coming back after a while and like you just being weaker, I mean, I can only assume that would feel bad. But I don't know. Greater good. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. And if they nerfed Thorns, if they've nerfed Starpack, Long Wiz, it's gonna change the meta. And like, you gotta think after 4 seasons of playing the same thing over and over again, even if it's a nerf, they're not playing the same thing, and you would welcome like a meta change. So I don't know.
I'm glad you didn't throw your cat over your head right there. Eat! By the way.
It's content, dude. Come on.
Oh my god.
Our viewers have gone up.
Yeah.
But yeah. And in other news, this has been a thing on Reddit for a while.
Mm-hmm. I've seen this.
Yeah. So this blind guy, basically, there's been like a post about how he plays blind, and then there was a post about how he finally hit 70, and now they're supposed to like he finally did his first GR, and he's blind, which is just insane and amazing at the same time. Like, how does like I still don't understand. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole video, but like, how does he know? Like, say he's wearing Maximus. Like, how does he know what gear and like how is it, if it's better? Like, it's just crazy to me. I can't even like wrap my head around. He just goes off audio cues.
Yeah,
and it's just wild to even.
How would you know what to put on and stuff? Though?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's got to be a little. I don't know, man.
He explains it. He's got like a video out and he talks about like how he did it and stuff. But it's super interesting. So like big ups to that guy, man. But holy crap.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's this goes to something that we talked about a long time ago. We talked about accessibility, controllers, and options and things, and I think it's awesome, man. I really want to see more development in that field.
No doubt. Yeah.
It'd be cool if people would if some developer out there someday makes a game for people who are blind. Like you could make a game that's audio only.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could design a game around and work with people that have that disability and make some badass content for them. That'd be really cool, man.
Yeah. And it'd be like all those people that do the ASMR streams. Like maybe they would get off on that. But yeah, really, really cool. And then to kind of follow up on accessibility, and I'm sure you get this all the time. It's something that I've kind of like been driving for in the future of Diablo. So one of the things I'm sure you've experienced. So basically, we come out these guys, right? We do our best to polish these guys, make them as perfect as we possibly can. And then, we'll post it and be like, okay, enjoy, people. And, sure enough, someone's going to come along and be like, hey, I play on console. Like, this doesn't work. Like, how do I play this? And I'm just like, I don't fucking know what to tell you because I don't play console. And it sucks. It sucks that there's that difference.
There's a gap, man.
Yeah. And
Diablo is one of the weird games that the game's significantly different, but still very similar. Like when you look at it, like if you play on a different console or PC, like, oh, it looks different.
Sure.
But it looks like the same game still, though. But it's really not, though. I mean, so much is different. It's weird, man.
I wonder why they made some of those design decisions. Like I go on to talk about like why was the role even, like why was that necessary?
And I've read that they put the role in because if they said something about you don't have as much control with a joystick, so they wanted to give more dodge, more ways to avoid damage on console, is what I read back in the day. And I'm thinking like, you got
you're pretty
control with
the
a joystick.
Yeah,
it's probably as good or faster than my mouse.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
I mean, with a controller, you can do like rotational move. I don't know, like you can't really replicate that unless you're like click, 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 click. You know what I mean?
About how fast you can switch your thumb to go back the other direction. Like, oh shit, something bad. Probably as fast or faster than you can move your mouse to click. If you're a clicker.
I don't know. I don't understand that. And then the design decision behind like the orbs being like way more impactful on console. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah. I think maybe moving. The only console experience I have is the Switch demo we played last year at BlizzCon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, can you use the right stick to aim and the left stick to move?
No.
Oh, the right stick's to roll. Why didn't they just do that? Why didn't they just make the right stick aim and the left stick move?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that make sense?
I mean, I'm sure they did that and then just like didn't play test well.
Must have played like shit. I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
And so
Maybe they should just sell a kit with a game that comes with a keyboard and mouse and you just plug it into your PlayStation.
And I've said that for World of Warcraft on console. Like, why is that not a thing? And the only reason I've heard that Blizzard's like, well, we don't like how it feels on console. Like, just package a keyboard and mouse with it. Mm-hmm. Up your subscription.
People would adopt and do it.
Yeah,
100% they would do it.
How many people out there like have an Xbox but
I don't think you can. I think Sony and Microsoft have things where you have to, for sure, Sony, it has to support the default hardware to an extent.
Sure.
I think it has to have controller support.
Yeah.
Just like for a long time, they had to have PlayStation Vita support in games or some shit like remote play. That they had to have remote play built in.
I'm sure if they can get Diablo 3 on the Switch, they can figure out how to put World of Warcraft on the fucking console.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think it would translate well. It'd make them a lot of money, but let's not give them.
Sure.
Let's not give them more idea.
At the very least, one of the biggest things is like you can't autocast on console. There's no numlock, and so that kills a lot of things. People end up using like Devouring Aura, and Devouring Aura is like the worst. Yeah. And if you're gonna, hopefully they had the foresight to not have spammable skills like off cooldown in Diablo 4.
Yeah, I think that's a design philosophy that should hopefully change.
And
personally.
if they do let us do it, autocast like absolutely has to be a thing.
I think auto cash should be in the game now.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
I think it's ridiculous that it's not.
Yeah.
Honestly, so if you're asking me, I would like, well, I wish that we didn't have to auto cast any skill ever.
Absolutely.
But we do.
Right.
So
Therefore.
the easy fix
Yeah.
is let's put in auto cast.
Sure. 100%.
And that's okay. Like that's okay. So
Yeah, and so I will say, like, I think Blizzard could find a way in the next iteration of Diablo, and the general consensus of this forum post, and I was actually kind of surprised by this, as the feedback I get is like, well, don't dumb down the controls for PC because of console, and that kind of struck me as, I mean, maybe because people only play Diablo, but if you look at a game like, say, Lost Ark, that does combat better than any ARPG, in my opinion. Like, most of that is just direction based, distance from your character based, timing based. Like, you know, like you got to hit this at the right time or whatever. And barely any of it is associated with like having a mouse pointer in a certain direction. So I think there's infinitely like better ways we could do movement that doesn't have to necessarily lock people to keyboard and mouse.
yeah.
So
We'll find out in 3
Sure.
weeks, man. We're gonna find out in 3 weeks.
you think there'd be gameplay? You're on crack, brother.
You don't think we're gonna get gameplay?
No, man. No,
right.
no.
I'm gonna save the conspiracies for next podcast. We're gonna talk about what we think we're gonna get.
Yeah. And then this, there's a lot. There's a lot here. So this is going to be kind of wordy, but I think it's important to like really give you guys the full context in some of these things because the questions, first of all, the questions of this thing, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Whoever this interviewer is, I love you.
He didn't hold back very.
Yeah.
He asked some questions that were tough questions.
Super tough questions. And I think, Brack did a decent job answering, but there's a lot to unpack in his answers.
Yeah, so what we're talking about, in case you don't know,
Sure.
This is Blizzard president
Jalen
is
Brack.
it Mike? Jay, that's right.
Yeah.
They sit down and they ask him, an interviewer just asks him a bunch of questions, and a lot of it is focused on
Immortal.
Blizzard, Activision, Diablo, basically all the negative shit for the last year. I mean, they just go at it. So
Yeah. The first thing I saw that I found really interesting is so the interview asked, so taking a step back, looking at your rise to your position now, what were your ambitions and what were the key areas of focus that you identified coming to this leadership role at Blizzard? And so he says, well, I think it's important for people to know what I think is important for people to know is the values that we have built this place and built Blizzard are still the same. We still prioritize gameplay first among all. We still focus delivering great content and great player experiences and great community focus for everything we do, and that couldn't be more important as we look to the future. So obviously that's like kind of the same rhetoric that we've heard. But what I found, go ahead.
The funny thing is he didn't even directly ask about Immortal, but it feels like he's already apologizing for Immortal.
Oh, not just
he's
that.
already like,
but he's not being like specific. It kind of feels like he's manipulating that answer to be like, expect mobile. Like it feels like they're still like peddling mobile.
It's just weird. It doesn't seem like that was even an answer to the question.
I know, right? Or maybe we're looking for it, but it definitely.
Yeah, maybe it could be.
But yeah. And then this question, I can't believe this guy was able to score an interview. Like if they don't invite me to BlizzCon, they let this guy ask these questions. It just blows my mind. So the next question was, I'm trying to figure out a way of asking this without unnecessarily vilifying Activision. I guess my question is, are the business realities of today such, and is your relationship with your parent company Activision such that you can continue to operate that way? Is Blizzard autonomous enough to say, we don't think this is a good idea, so we're going to kill it, and we're going back to the drawing board? You may not see another game from us for like 5-10 years or whatever it may be. Are you in a position where you can do that? Which is like cojones in this guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a question right there, dude.
And so he kind of, I wouldn't say dodges it, but he says, here's the thing I will say. We're sitting here and we're about to have the Overwatch League finals, which really hasn't been created in conjunction with some people, Activision Blizzard, and the desire that they have is the same desire as we have, which is to have our games exposed to millions of players all around the world. I think we have different ways to think about how we achieve that goal, but our goals are very similar and very aligned with them. That's like What
That's
do
a
you think?
total dodge.
know.
That's a total dodge. And not only that, that answers the question, though. The answer is no. The
Sure.
answer is fuck no. Like, if Activision tells us we got to have a game out, we got to have a game out. Period. You know what I mean?
And it's such a small like window of what they could possibly agree on. Like they want their game to be exposed to millions of players around the world. Of course,
the
they
word
both want that.
Exposed?
like,
Like,
of course they both want that. That's how you make money.
I
Like,
don't know.
like
Yeah.
of course our deals line up. We want our game to be played by millions.
But I mean, that's okay. I don't know if it's okay. Activision has a bad aura right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? They are vilified. They are
Sure.
looked at in a different light in the last couple of years, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, Activision wants them to get games out and make money. Like that's why they bought them. So for him to say like, we all want him to be like, no, we can do whatever we want. No, that's not how it works. Activision bought them.
For sure.
That's not the case, no matter
Sure.
how bad we want it to be.
We're all sitting there like, please, Brack, say like, psh, nah.
Like, yeah, fuck Activision.
Yeah, fuck
no,
you,
they own you, man. You know, like that's not how it works. So that's the. But what he just said was like, no, like he just said no. We got to do what they tell us we got to do.
But we both had the same goal of we want our game to be played by millions of people, which is like every gamer company's goal.
They want us to make money, and we want to make money. That's what he just said.
How weird! Our goals line up. What?
More money. Yeah.
But yeah, to add to that, he follows up the interviewer and he says, the worry from a fan perspective is if there's a point where it does look like an Overwatch League can sustain the kind of interest it needs, does Activision suddenly shift to, well, you've got to give us the next thing now? And that's where the clash of ideologies may happen, where it's like, well, we work in a way you might not get another Overwatch for another 10 years. Are you still in a position where you can still call the shots on your games and won't be told how to produce them or be forced to produce them in a different way to meet certain demands? And so
he just re-asked the same question again.
I mean,
basically. Yeah.
So Brack says, basically, yes. I think the fact that developer was put in charge of the company after Mike, I think Mike Morham, the original guy that stepped down last year. And I think the fact that we promoted Ray Gresco to be the chief development officer really speaks to not only what Blizzard values are, but it's also an indication that Activision Blizzard understands what's important to Blizzard. So because they put developers in power, it means that, like, I don't see how that's a correlation. They put developers in power, like, you work with developers, right?
Yeah.
We're a passive breed of people, I feel like. And
the reason it took me a second to reply is I'm like reading into this answer again, like for like the fifth time. And if you look at it, so what I'm thinking of is it says, I'm going to break the question up in his answer.
Sure.
If Overwatch could support itself, does Activision suddenly shift to, well, you got to give us the next thing now? And his answer is basically yes. Now, is he saying basically yes to Activision saying you got to give us the next thing? Or is he saying basically yes where you can call your own shots?
Yeah, he's saying basically yes, you're in a position where you can call the shots on your own games.
Is that what you think he's saying?
I mean,
I don't think they get to call the shots. And I would be super surprised if they do. Like, I mean, yeah, they have a lot of freedom. But when it comes down to it, if you're negative on the books, Activision's a company, man. They're trying to make money. If Blizzard's not making money that year, they're pissed.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, I need a private island over here in, Aruba or something, whatever.
Let's get a new Blizzard game.
Make more money, dude.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so another follow-up. I love Overwatch, the interviewer. I love Overwatch, and I've been obsessed with it in a way that I haven't been with any other Blizzard game. And this like speaks to us because, we're mostly Diablo fans. And I'm sure it's the same way for many others. Creating new IP clearly works for you, but you also have this stable of classic games that fans really want more of, like StarCraft, Diablo. What's your take on creating new versus leaning on the old? Are you still planning to explore the older stuff in the same way that you've done with the WoW Classic, or is there still a life in StarCraft as well, or whatever may come next? And this I thought was one of the more interesting answers. So he goes, I think we're fortunate we're fortunate to really have 4 giant IPs in the form of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, and now Overwatch. I think this is extremely powerful. Many of these IPs support different types of gaming experiences. What pops in your head immediately when he says that?
Well, the first thing is they left Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone off the list.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's surprising. Hearthstone, you would think would be.
Yeah. I mean, Hearthstone is like an IP mesh of all of them, but it's its own thing.
Sure.
And I thought Hearthstone was like a huge moneymaker for Blizzard too. I thought. I mean, I don't have access to books, but
maybe what they're saying is like Hearthstone could only ever really be like a Hearthstone card game, probably. Like, could you spin Hearthstone into like an AR?
And Hearthstone uses things from WoW, like it's like WoW's IP, I guess. Maybe you can put it under that because it's using its characters. I don't know, but so when I see this though, is I think that he's right at that, man. They do have 4 gigantic IPs.
They
man.
know it.
They have one of the best FPS shooters. They have the ARPG franchise. I mean, there's nothing bigger than Diablo. I don't care what it is. The name alone.
There's nothing bigger than the idea of Diablo.
Yeah, they'll sell 10 million copies of Diablo 4, even if it's shit. They'll still sell it.
Yeah.
StarCraft is like the original, like, you know, I'm sure there's people would say Age of Empires, other things, but StarCraft to me is like the original RTS.
The granddaddy of RTS.
I ever played.
Absolutely.
You know? And then, I mean, Warcraft is just fucking like WoW is, and the RPGs.
Yeah.
Are the RTSs.
Sure.
So he's right. Yeah.
He goes on to say, fans want more StarCraft games. I'm a fan. I also want more StarCraft games. Fans want more Diablo games. I'm a fan. I also want more Diablo games. Fans want new IP. Me too.
That's not even an answer, though, you know? Like, it's cool. Like, that's the thing, man. This interviewer is asking questions, really good questions, but you never get a good answer. You never, ever, ever. Like that. What did he answer? He just said, he said nothing. He said, I'm glad we got good IPs.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that second phrase where he says, I think it's extremely powerful. Many of these IPs support different types of gaming experiences. So to me, again, maybe because I'm still jaded from BlizzCon last year, but I immediately think like he's still peddling mobile. Like he's still peddling mobile right there. Our IPs support different types of gaming experiences. So like we're going to get every IP on your phone.
Well, I think that they want to get that market.
Sure.
There's a lot of money out there. We're going to get it.
But actually, I think it turns a little bit better after this. So obviously, the interview asks, obviously, as a company, you want to grow. And you do that by embracing new ideas and exploring new opportunities. How do you balance that versus maintaining what your fans believe your identity is? A great example is Diablo Immortal. On paper, it's a smart way to tackle mobile gaming, which is big in many territories, so you can't ignore that market. It makes sense for Diablo to be the product that moves you into that space because it's a good fit. But at the same time, it clashes against the identity people know Blizzard to have and what fans love Diablo as, which manifests in the reaction, which is beautifully worded, by the way.
Yeah, that's a perfectly way to say that. Yeah.
So Brack comes out and he says, I think the thing we did a poor job of when we announced Diablo Immortal was contextualizing what we think the future can be and what we think mobile can be in particular. And I also think the key that we lost is that we did a poor job of double emphasizing is that we're a PC developer first, and then we look for other platforms that we think are awesome that can support the games, the types of games experiences that we would like to resonate, and the types of games and values that we want to put forth into the world. An example of that is there's a bit of backlash when we announced that Diablo 3 would be ported to console. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I didn't care though. So I didn't pay it any attention. I don't remember the backlash.
I remember the backlash, but I don't remember
I didn't care that much.
I don't remember the backlash was like, why the fuck are you putting on console? We're PC master race. I remember the backlash more of like, why are you working on putting us on console instead of giving us content?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that statement that statement makes sense. I mean, and that's the best answer they could possibly give us, right? But here's the problem that I have. He says, he says, and I also think the key thing we lost was we did a poor job double emphasizing is we are a PC developer first. But you haven't given us content for the game for 6 years or 4 years or whatever it is. So it's like you can't say you're a PC developer first when we're starving on PC.
Right.
And then you're announcing a mobile platform. We want that energy to be spent on PC. And that still looks like it's not being heard.
Sure.
Now, that's because it's timing of the release, right? They got that reaction. Now they're going to sit on Diablo Immortal until they announce Diablo 4 at BlizzCon, and then they'll announce it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just bad timing. It was a bad announcement.
Sure. And yeah, I mean, to add to that, like it again, what you said, it's like if you're a PC company first, like why would double emphasizing would be like supporting the PC game, which at BlizzCon 2018 was a year of nothing for Diablo. Like, literally over a year of no content.
Of no changes,
zero
no content, no patches, no balance changes.
Other than
absolutely nothing. And
double goblins and fucking double bounty mans. That's not content.
Yeah, and not only that, you hyped BlizzCon.
Yeah.
And sold tickets to BlizzCon, in my opinion, because we thought we were going to get Diablo 4. Like that video they put out, dude, was dirty. Was super dirty.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, man, it's really hard not to get upset about that. You know what I mean?
Sure. Especially for people that like went. Like we're spending like $2,000 just to get out there and get excited for a game they're all passionate about. And you drop like something that absolutely nobody wanted on us. Like it was just.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think that was planned. I think when that video was put out, I think they were going to go give us Diablo 4.
Pull the trigger.
Yeah. Like I said, years from now, man, Kotaku is going to have an article about what really happened at BlizzCon 2018.
Sure.
You know? So.
I hope it's not like Brack is like, you know what? I think this mobile Diablo could carry. Like we don't even have to announce Diablo 4.
Wow.
I would love to hear that was the story.
Like the head developer for Diablo 4 quit and he like destroyed all the data or something.
Yeah,
you know
deleted
what I mean?
the. Yeah, sure.
The server crashed. They didn't have backups.
Right before they went on stage, like the thing wouldn't play or something. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, you can't get it to launch on Windows 10.
But yeah, so he goes on to answer. He said, we think that mobile doesn't have to be a lesser quality experience. We think that we can have Blizzard values around monetization. Interesting point. And we think that it can be a great experience. Diablo Immortal is a game that we've been working on for quite a few years at this point. We're happy with how it's coming along. We're looking forward to having players see it whenever it's ready to go. First and foremost, though, I think the thing that did not get communicated, and I can't say this enough, is that we are a PC developer that also looks for opportunities on other platforms.
You got to show us, not tell us. I mean, there's a bunch of things in that.
Sure. It's easy to say that.
Yeah. The second sentence, we think that we can have a Blizzard values around monetization. That to me makes me think that it's going to be a one-time buy and you have it on your phone. There's no way they're going to do that. I guarantee it's going to be free to play. With purchasable in-game content or skins. They could do this. They could do a model like Destiny's doing right now.
Sure.
You know, they could do you get the game for free, the base game. You're going to get some content with that. And then as they release new content, you have to purchase it if you want to play it. So the base game has to be good enough to hook you to make you spend money to buy more content.
Sure.
And it's like a mix between free to play, pay to cosmetic, and a pay for the purchase.
Do you think
they got to crack you? They got to crack you in on mobile though. The game won't be successful if it has an upfront cost.
Right. Do you think that the model of say like PoE where it's not necessarily it's free to play, but it's like definitely pay for convenience kind of thing, like with the stash being like super kind of important if you're gonna play the game seriously?
I think
would that work?
That would.
In the Diablo Immortal?
I would say yes on any game in the world except for Diablo Immortal.
I agree.
Now,
I agree. Yeah.
because of BlizzCon last year, man, and that's the only reason.
Yeah.
You know,
They just did it wrong.
I think that they set themselves up really hard in the West, at least.
Yeah.
You know, in the East, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they could probably do whatever they want, and they'll be super successful. I don't know, but it would be hard. Let's say that Diablo 4 even copied PoE style, and it was free to play. I don't know if it. I mean, it sure would be successful, but would it have backlash? Absolutely. I feel like.
You think?
Yeah.
I
think
don't
it
know,
probably
man.
would.
I tend to feel like Diablo 4 is going to be like, I don't know, kind of immune from this Diablo Immortal blah. Unless
I think it
has pay to
depends
win
on what
stuff
we
in
get.
it. Yeah.
If they wow us, man, Blizzard cinematics are top tier. If they put together a decent cinematic and then a little bit of good ass gameplay demo, people will lose their minds, and it won't matter what they do. You know?
Yeah. And I will say, so I didn't know that these like little CGI cutscenes were a thing in the World of Warcrafts with like Sylvanas and the orc dude.
Yeah.
And I watched them, right?
It was badass.
Yeah.
Right?
I was like, I don't give a fuck about WoW, but like that's some fucking cool shit.
Yeah, and like even if you haven't really played the story, because like in all honesty, like retail kind of lost me in BFA. It hasn't been something I enjoyed a lot. I mean, I still like it, but it's not sucking me in. But I'm interested in the story because I've always followed the story, and so I usually hit YouTube videos up and just like, okay, what happened? What's the story? And if you watch those cutscenes and like the story, when you see that final cutscene, it was like I was like, damn, dude, like I was kind of into it.
Yeah,
little like, oh man, that sucks. So.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. But yeah, what I got from that, just a side tangent, is it's like I don't follow World of Warcraft, but it seems like Sylvanas is like not in power anymore. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But as the Horde, you're like kind of choosing to be like evil and not like just a bunch of orcs.
So I haven't played this expansion hardly at all. So the story I'm a little lost in, but basically Sylvanas like lost her shit and started like straight up trying to annihilate the Alliance.
Hell fucking yeah.
And which
That's
is
a bad thing?
kind of the deal.
Right.
and then but at some point your player character has to make a choice. Like her genocide is like on a whole nother level, and she starts like threatening to kill Horde and shit and like not caring who dies like, whatever. And you have to pick if you side with her or against her, I think. Like, the normal Horde. And
did that dictate?
I didn't play this.
Did that dictate like what this next piece was?
You got to see that video. You got to see that video either way, but after the video ends, your player character's in a different space. Depending on which side you picked, you had a different storyline and you saw different cinematics and got different dialogue from NPCs and shit. So it did matter.
Gotcha.
From what I've been told, I didn't play it. So
gotcha.
yeah, it's kind of cool. She's not in power, and we'll have to see with this expansion. I'm kind of waiting for this expansion's like story trailer to get finished. Like it's all piecemealed, so it's hard for me to really understand it.
Sure. And then the final thing, and probably the most interesting thing, is the interview asks, you want to emphasize that you're a PC first kind of developer and company and publisher. Do you understand the resistance from fans when you're like, yeah, but this is a mobile thing and that's not who you are? Which again, great question. And so Brack says, I think in retrospect, we had a very honest look at ourselves post BlizzCon to look at the fans' reaction. It's the task of trying to understand really deeply that reaction. We did not do a good job of assuring our core fan base that we're not abandoning PC for mobile or in console. That part of the message did not get communicated in a way that I think, if we could go back, we would. It's not hard to understand the fan reaction of, I'm a Blizzard fan. Blizzard, just keep making PC games like you've always done. Like I like, that will make me happy. We'll stop there for a second.
Yeah.
It's almost insulting with that last sentence. I don't know.
Well, I agree with his first sentence where he took an honest look at ourselves.
Yeah.
Because instantly that Monday we had a We Hear You post.
Sure.
Right? Or we're. So I think when BlizzCon was over, they were like, fuck, man, this is not good. This is not what we expected. This is not what we wanted. The stock dropped through the roof. Activision was making phone calls like, yo, what's going on, dude? What are you guys doing? But yeah,
Yeah.
The last
That last
sentence
sentence is like, I'm a Blizzard fan. Just keep making PC games like it wasn't. Like, that'll make me happy. It's kind of like, I don't know. He's like, what is he speaking for us there? Like, we're like just simple-minded folk. They're like, oh, like
he said,
PC
yeah,
games.
he's saying it's not hard to understand. He's saying that's our reaction.
Sure.
You know, he's saying that's what we told him, and I don't think that is what the reaction is.
Right.
I think the reaction is it's okay to make other things, but we haven't had content. We haven't had good content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so BFA wasn't well regarded as the greatest expansion ever.
Sure.
Your Heroes of the Storm has had a lull from what I was I didn't play it,
Moved
but
to
I think it was in a lull period.
Sure.
Overwatch had the Overwatch League at the time. They were pushing it really hard. I don't know how well it took off, but they were definitely promoting the crap out of it. Hearthstone's always been Hearthstone.
Sure.
And then Diablo hasn't had new content for 4 years or 3 years or however many years it had been at the time, 4 years. And it had nothing for a year at least. StarCraft 2, I mean, it's not getting much
Sure.
love. Like, you got to give us something, man.
Sure.
You know? That's what the reaction was. The reaction was, hey, we're not getting our PC games,
Sure.
and you're going to this.
Like,
If
what
keep giving us the
are
PC
you
games,
working
go
on?
do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like throwing out content at us and we're like, oh my God, this is the best WoW expansion ever. This is the best Diablo 3 content ever. You know, new Overwatch characters galore. Like, I don't know.
Sure.
People would be like, yeah, sure, man, make that mobile game. Fuck, I don't care.
Right.
You know?
And it's just like, I think a lot of people took it as, even though they're like, we're partnering with NetEase and they're going to do it for us, basically. But
Yeah.
like a lot of people are like, this is what you've been working on. You know,
None
instead
of this would have happened if they would have waited to drop it with Diablo 4.
Probably.
No, I really think that. Like, if they would have just been like, Diablo 4, yeah. Oh, and by the way, we got Diablo Immortal. Let's talk about it. People would be like, oh, okay, I guess.
But yeah, so he goes on. I said, some mobile games are very good and some mobile games are incredibly crappy, just like every other platform. We do think there's an opportunity for players to play and enjoy games that are at a very high level of quality that we really like, that we really believe in the Blizzard IP. That's the lens for Diablo Immortal.
Diablo Immortal could be a good mobile game.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. Because one of the things, that we're both petrified about is how like Diablo Immortal is it's static maps, dynamic events. There's only like 8 fucking maps. There's no content there, seemingly.
Well, we don't know the scope of the release, but we got to play at the demo. And what we talked about
was
at the
what
time,
we were told at the time was going to
ago.
be the scope of the release.
Yeah. So static maps are definitely disappointing.
Yeah.
I think the gameplay was fun. You got to contextualize it for a mobile game, right? That's what you got to keep. You got to keep saying for a mobile game. It was fun for a mobile game.
Sure.
Was it something that I'm going to like be like, damn, I can't wait to play Diablo Immortal? Absolutely not. I don't think so. It's not like it's not like when the Destiny expansion launches and I fucking venge out for 24 hours straight. I'm not going to be like, yo, there's a Diablo Immortal expansion coming today. I'm going to call in sick and take 24 hours and play Diablo Immortal. And,
Right.
like, I just don't see that ever happening on a mobile game. But could it be something fun to play when I like laying in bed on Saturday night with,
Sure.
getting ready to go to sleep? Maybe,
I don't know, man. So I think he's operating under the assumption that they can wow us with like a mobile game instead of like what you say, like, oh, this is good for a mobile game.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like maybe if they added like quadruple that content to the mobile version, it could be decent. I just don't know how you would do that with the confines of a mobile device. So
I just don't see.
Time will tell.
Like. I played the game and I can see myself laying in bed, being like, okay, I'm gonna go hop on Diablo Immortal. Oh, look, there's a bunch of random dudes in this dungeon I just jumped into, and we go kill a boss, and it's super easy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool, I got an upgraded sword. That's dope, and I throw it on, and then I like lock my phone and roll over and go to sleep.
Sure.
But that's not something that I'm excited about. It's not something that I'm dreaming about at work. I'm like, fucking working on some project at work going, God damn, dude, if I did this instead of that,
Yeah.
oh shit, that would be amazing. I got to try that tonight. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to,
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I mean,
I mean,
we know
maybe
nothing.
if they make me do that, then
Yeah.
they've just blown my mind,
Sure.
right? Then they are right and I'm wrong, and I'll make Diablo Immortal videos saying like I'm the biggest dumbass in the world. Like this game is blowing my mind.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
We still don't know anything about optimization. Maybe that's fucking amazing.
Maybe it could be. Maybe it could be that
good.
good where I'm like, fuck me, I can't wait to stream Diablo Immortal tonight. You
Maybe.
know? I hope.
Sure. That's been a huge realization for me, especially having played Destiny, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I feel like one of the huge enjoyments I get out of a game is that, where it's like when you're not playing the game, you're either on some like external website, like messing with build ideas, putting stuff together, theory crafting. Like that's 1000% like one of the things I really, really enjoy. And if a game doesn't have that, I tend to lose a lot of interest. So hopefully the mobile would have something like that. Instead of like at BlizzCon, it was like you put the sword on. It's like +3 attack. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's just more stats.
You can suspend your game on your phone and pull your web browser up and look up the data and then go back and your app will have reset and then you get to log back in.
Sick.
Right? Maybe that's just the iPhone problem, though. I don't know. I haven't had an Android phone forever.
And then the next sentence I like kind of highlighted. Brack says, if you're a core PC gamer, then there are an insignificant number of mobile games that don't have a great reputation.
I think you read that wrong.
Did I? Did I?
If you're a core PC gamer, then there are not an insignificant number of mobile games that don't have a great reputation.
But that's just if you're a PC gamer.
So if you're a core PC gamer, then there are not an insignificant number. So that's a double negative. So there are a significant number of mobile games that don't have a great reputation.
Huh?
Okay. I mean, I get what he's trying to say.
Do you? Because it sounds like, well, just because you're a PC gamer.
Yeah. So this is what he's trying. I'm not saying that I agree with it. What he's saying is if you're a PC gamer, then there are a whole bunch of shitty mobile games. Now, you could not be a PC gamer and there's still the same equal number of shitty mobile games. But I think what he's trying to say,
PC gamer, you don't know the difference?
Yeah, I think what he's trying to say is that there aren't any mobile games on the same level as a PC game. Mm-hmm. And that's correct. There aren't, because you can't fucking do it.
Right.
You just can't do it.
Yeah. I thought that particular sentence was, it's like, well, so it's like you're catering. Again, one of the biggest controversies in all of this is they keep saying time and time again, saying like, hey, we're trying to reach a new audience, that we're not making these for our core fan base. We're trying to get a bunch of, soccer moms and, people who play mobile games, Candy Crush, whatever.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. Man. But they just keep reiterating time and time again that like our core PC fan base is first. And we think that they'll like this shit.
Yeah. So this is the disconnect that they can't seem to get, is they can't seem to they keep telling their PC fan base, you're going to like my mobile game, is kind of what they're doing. Like they're like, wait for it, you're gonna love it. Just wait for it, you're gonna love it. And I don't feel that's accurate.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me that. Just be like, okay, cool.
It's not for
and
you.
then release it and blow my mind.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna be like, well, I told you, dude.
Yeah, I hate that they keep trying to drive that home. And, that's one of the reasons, like, I had so much beef with that Brack guy, because he just kept trying to do it time and time again. Instead of, and he went in circles a bit, too, because he was like, we're trying to reach a new audience. We're trying to reach an audience. And then he would go back and say, but the core of what we're trying to hit here is our PC, space, which is, no,
I don't have a problem with Immortal. In all honesty, like, I really don't have a problem that Blizzard's making it. And I think that it is potentially going to fill a niche that's open right now, because there are people that like ARPGs that may commute a lot or may want to play on their phone, and that's cool. But I think the disconnect is you haven't given us the content we want for Diablo. Like, you picked the IP that is starving for content, and we want it, and you're not. We're getting this instead. And even though it's a different company making it, like, dude, outsource another company to make Diablo 3 content for us. Then.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's the disconnect. And it's like, if you would have picked World of Warcraft, I don't think it would have been as bad because WoW constantly gets content.
Yeah.
Or if you would have picked Overwatch constantly gets content.
Mm-hmm.
But when you pick a game that hasn't had content, it's been pretty content starved since release. I mean, Reaper of Souls was baller, and it made the game good. But that's it. Like,
I mean, Necropack, I think, was significant, but it's not a full, like, expansion, of course.
It didn't change the end game, though.
What?
A lot.
Of course it did.
Necro?
What?
It changed the metas, but you're still running rifts.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It didn't change the things you do when you're max level. Yeah.
Yeah, you're still running rifts. You're still doing bounties.
Yeah. Mm.
That's, so I think, I think they just picked a bad release time, announcement time, and then
okay, let me put this hypothetical in front of you. Okay. So say World of Warcraft is in the #1 spot after the opening ceremony. Mm-hmm. And all that's announced for World of Warcraft is World of Warcraft Mobile.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, it would have been the same fucking thing.
Fuck that. Yeah, it would have been the same. You're right. 100%. Oh.
Yeah. So it's just awful execution. Awful execution.
Yeah.
And then to go on, so he says, we've seen these games, we've played these games, we played games that we feel like are predatory when it comes to monetization. They're not the most fun experiences we could imagine. And that's not, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's hard for people, in parentheses for some reason, to see how Blizzard is still Blizzard on that platform.
Yeah. Especially with Activision at the helm.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting here is like, if some games are predatory when it comes to monetization, this kind of like alludes to there's still going to be monetization, and it could even be in the form of like even like maybe some pay to win. But for a mobile game, it's not near as bad as it could be. It's kind of like what I think this could allude to.
Yeah. The monetization scheme has never been really even hinted at. Other than they're still thinking about it. So.
I'm curious, as we're both not mobile gamers, if there are really popular mobile games that don't have a monetization scheme around pay to win.
I don't think so. And all the ones that don't have monetization at all are just ad based. Right. You know what I mean? Like you play one life or one turn, and then it's like, watch this video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Forced advertisement,
or at least mobile games that you can continually play. It's not like a one time and done.
I don't have experience with a lot. Like I mean, I had Candy Crush on my phone, right? Like years ago. I don't think it's still on there. I don't think it's been there for years. But it was like you ran out of lives, and it's like buy lives, or then it would make the level difficult, and it's like buy this bomb to blow up shit. It's like basically pay to win. What games have you played? That's honestly I played that shit for like a week, maybe. Like, what else have you played? Anything?
I mean, honestly,
I don't play any games on my phone. Like none, zero.
I played a little Hearthstone.
Yeah, Hearthstone. Okay, I do play Hearthstone.
I played. I downloaded on my flight because I had like a lot of downtime. A game called Monument Valley, and it was okay. It was like a little puzzle game, like what you would expect like a mobile game to be, right? Like just like some little ratty thing that you do for like 5 minutes.
Like I have Tetris. I have on my phone right now. I have 2 games. I have NBA Jam, and I have Tetris, because both of those translate to mobile decently well. And it's like, but there's no pay to win in them. Like NBA Jam was $1, and Tetris was like probably $5 or something stupid, which wasn't worth it. But I love Tetris, so that's it. And they're quick pick up, play, no
dump.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then to wrap it all up, he says, if we didn't think that we could make great games on a mobile platform, we wouldn't do it. Mobile games have been out for quite a while, and Hearthstone is the only one that we have done so far. What has made it take so long is figuring out how we're going to find the Blizzard way of making a great mobile game. So immediately what jumps to my head is I think Hearthstone's a terrible example of a mobile game because your experience on PC versus your experience on mobile isn't different. It's the same game. Yeah. It's like you're literally just like remoting in, kind of thing. Like you'd have the same experience doing like an RDP from your phone to your desktop.
Right.
It doesn't change. So I think that's an awful example.
Well, I think Hearthstone is like the best possible game
scenario.
You could have for a mobile game because it's a non-graphic. I mean, you made it look pretty, but it's in reality it's solitaire. You know what I mean? Like, it's like saying solitaire on my PC or solitaire on my phone. Like, it's the same shit.
Right.
It's a card game. So, Hearthstone is an amazing phone mobile game. Like, it's great. I said I had 2 games. I lied. I don't think I have Hearthstone anymore. But I did play Hearthstone. I think it's on my iPad. Actually, I actually prefer to play Hearthstone on my iPad than on my PC.
Sure.
Because I can lay around the house and don't have to sit up at a desk.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, that pretty much, I think those are the most interesting points from that.
Those were cool questions.
Yeah, man, those are great questions.
And to reiterate the point, like I'm bitching about it because I'm a PC gamer.
Yeah.
I think there's a market for Diablo Immortal. I think there's a market for Blizzard to go into the mobile space, but I don't think it's going to relate one-to-one with their PC gamers. I think they need to target, like, a lot of people who are phone gamers. They can make an awesome mobile game and capture that market, and that's new audience they have. Cool, do it, but
just don't
picking an IP that picking an IP that hasn't had updates in like 4 years, and you hype it up, and then you tell us it's a mobile game, dude. Like, that's why we're pissed, and you're telling us we're gonna love it, and that's insulting. So I hope I love it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong as hell, man. I want to eat crow so bad. Be like, this is the best shit. But back
to drive it. Okay, so the 2 things that really will still resonate and will always resonate with me about BlizzCon 2018 was Brack saying, like, the core we're trying to hit here is our PC fan base. And the guy that we talked to saying, Diablo 3 on PC is great the way it is. People love it the way it is, so we don't touch it. Like, to me, they've completely flip-flopped.
And nobody got that, though. That was a private thing.
Yeah, that was a private thing. Right.
That was a private thing that we had with, a dev said that to you.
Yeah.
And I'm just, that, I don't know.
Yeah, so this, I don't know. A lot of this feels like, well, it's easy to say this, but like you have done nothing to really prove that that's what you really feel. But, BlizzCon could totally...
The flip side of this is we don't see what's going on behind the scenes either, though.
No transparency. Yeah.
Yeah, like, Diablo 4 could be in like heavy fucking development. When BlizzCon 2018 was going to drop, they could be like balls deep, going crazy, have this awesome thing going to show us, but they're like, we're not quite ready yet. Let's polish up a couple things first. So, if they blow our socks off at this BlizzCon, do we forget about it?
I mean, I think that will probably be one of the biggest fails in gaming history is BlizzCon 2018. So I don't think that will ever be forgotten. And I feel bad too, because I know there's a lot of players out there with not only this BlizzCon 2018, but today's thing where they basically said, screw social justice, blah, blah, blah. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people out there that, like, no matter how good, and even people that were so disappointed with Diablo 3, like, would never, ever come back and check out Diablo because of what Blizzard's done, of what Diablo 3 was. So it's unfortunate, but I get it.
I can tell you that I personally had somebody tell me that they were going to cancel their WoW subscription because of today.
Yeah, I could see that.
They're like, I unsubbed today because of that. And to me, I was like, damn.
I want to talk about that so bad, but we'll wait.
Oh, I know.
We'll wait.
Yeah. So, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What else do we got? Diablo stuff.
I think that's really it.
Okay. Well, let's switch gears then.
Sure.
A little bit. Destiny 2 had an expansion drop Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
A week ago from today. It's the first week.
Yep.
I saw you playing it, man.
Yep.
What's this?
Yep.
Okay. What did you think?
Okay, so my thought process was this. So I've been playing Borderlands with Lindsay.
Yeah.
She likes it.
Okay.
And I remember like playing Borderlands and being like, I enjoy like killing things.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily love a ton of things about Borderlands. And so it was that curiosity of like, I had it in my head. Like, I know that Destiny does like combat better. I know that Destiny's like feels better. So I was like, well, let's like check it out again. But I'll let you review it first because you're an actual Destiny fan.
Okay.
So I think it makes more sense for you to give your impressions first.
Yeah. So I think this expansion was a lot of behind the scenes setup, and the overall content of the expansion was well done, but it wasn't a lot. I felt like I breezed through the story missions in like less than 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how long it was. And like the main campaign of story missions is over. And then if you're not a Destiny player, you are probably going to feel lost on like, well, what do I do to advance my story at this point? As a veteran Destiny player, you already know, okay, sure, I got this quest. I'm going to go work on this and follow these things because that's going to open up more content.
Uh-huh.
But and Destiny has a way of trickling content out. So like the expansion that you played last week, there's already new stuff in it today. There's like more content. Mm-hmm. And then next week there'll be more content. And then the week after that, more content. I think they do a very, very crappy job of telling people that. And I'm curious to hear how you feel about that and if you knew that. But all in all, I think the changes they made to the interface for some of the interface things, the new Armor 2.0 system they put in, has got a lot of potential. The quest felt well done. The characters they brought back were Destiny 1 classics, so it's like really cool to see them as a veteran player. And the raid is fantastic. So, all right. So what you got?
In going back and trying Destiny again, first and foremost, that hit me when I hit the end game. I knew what to do. Like it's that, the weekly quest to get the powerful gear and grams and stuff like that. I don't know that I love that. I don't know. It made me realize how much I really dislike games that have like that weekly reset, where that ritual of where like if you play hard, you will run out of content to do that week, period. Yeah. Even if like it doesn't matter how hardcore you are. Like if you just want to play that character, you're gonna run out super quick. You could play all three of your alts and get like power creep faster, but you're still gonna run out of content.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you something about that. How that works? Yeah. With the Armor 2.0 system, though, you can get better rolled gear doing all kinds of activities. Like you could be pretty much whatever you want, right?
Just grinding glimmer and shards.
Yeah. So and to relate it to Diablo, for all the Diablo people out there that maybe don't know what we're talking about. So let's say that you're working on a build, and the build that you have, you need a primal Chantotos, right? Or Chantotos. So you get one, and it's like a shit roll. So what are you going to do to get another one? You can pretty much do anything in Diablo. You can do greater rifts or whatever to get another one, and it's going to drop, and it could be worse, it could be better. Then you could get an ancient one, and then if you're super lucky, you'll get a primal one. So the same kind of thing is starting to form in Destiny, where they have gear has rolls on it. Not every roll is random. You can grind for pieces to get the gear you want to make the build. It's not as drastic as like Chantotos or Diablo stuff, but it does reduce your super, your cooldown, your melee, give you toughness, give you mobility. So you could definitely tweak your play style based on that gear and get better pieces. And you can do that all the time, anytime, just by doing shit.
Sure.
Now, you're right, though. When you get your powerfuls are your big upgrades, you can run out of those in the week, and you're kind of playing just for that 2.0 shit at this point.
And I don't think that system is intriguing enough to want you to warrant that continual grind. Like you get Armor 2.0 and you get more upgrades as you like dump more glimmer and shards into your gear, and eventually like gets you more like faster reload on like a rocket. Like that isn't like build defining enough and exciting enough to warrant the chase to me. Like there's nothing that your build isn't that unique to you. It's like you have an exotic on that changes how you play a little bit, but it's not like a build. It's not like a...
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And
I agree.
There's that experience which I touched on earlier.
And I think coming from ARPG players, that's where we cut the line because we're thinking build is in like drastically different play style.
Sure.
And Destiny's like build is like tweaking it to fit how you like to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
it'd be like sets in Diablo, kind of, in a way. If there's only like one play style for a set, kind of thing, is what I... And so, and so it's like, to what I touched on earlier, is like, you know, when I play a game and I have that offline, like, ooh, what's my build going to be? And I'm going to like click into the spec and stuff like that. And I will say, like, Borderlands, it kind of has that a little bit on Destiny. It's like you have a skill tree, but I mean, Borderlands is pretty garbage as well. So, yeah.
I didn't even buy Borderlands, man. Like, I was into it and I was going to do it. And then I'm just like, I'm going to hold off and just, because I just had this feeling like, you know, I think it might be garbage. I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
And like, nobody's playing that shit now.
Yeah. Because there's no, like, the endgame grind, you're going to get all the legendaries you need. And then what? There's nothing to keep going for. There's really nothing. You make an alt. That's another thing that I've realized that I absolutely hate. Like, Destiny, you would power creep a lot faster if you made alts, right? And so I hate games that, like, so they have that weekly lockout. You run out of stuff to do that week, and then, well, what now? I can either log off and not play, which fucking sucks, or I could play an alt. And I don't really want to play that alt, because I just want to play my main, the guy that I like actually picked and selected, and not like, you know, like a mage or a tank or whatever. But you have to do that to progress your main still, or you just like have nothing to do. I like World of Warcraft does that. Destiny does that. It's awful.
So my thing is, like, I've been jumping into Crucible. Did you play any PvP at all?
Yes, I forgot about.
Okay.
That. I mean,
so like Destiny's PvP is drastically different from like your Modern Warfare Call of Duty. Okay, it's just
a competitive.
It's
FPS,
a different.
Right.
It's a different beast. Yeah. I hate it sometimes, but I absolutely love it sometimes. Like, there are just some games where you have a phenomenal game, you pull off some sick, you know, ridiculous 360 no scopes, whatever, and you're just like, that was the shit. And then some games you go in and it's like, I'm getting wrecked by heavy, super, and it's like, well, there's just so many situations where you can't do anything. Right. It's not skill based at that point. You're just dying to just power, you know.
And that's what I jumped into, like, I had the weeklies for the powerful engrams to do the PvP. So I jumped into PvP and I got my bow and arrow because that's all I want to play in Destiny, because it's just super fun. And I was fucking annihilating. Like, for the first 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Spawns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 minutes to heavy
not
spawns.
even heavy. Like, I'm fine with heavy weapons. Like, Halo does that too. Power weapons. I get it. No problem. Oh, shit, I died to a rocket. Whatever. But, like, then everyone charges up their fucking super. And then the next, like, 5 deaths are all super deaths. Like, it's just so frustrating. It's so stupid. Like, you did not skill kill me at all. You just build up your super from just playing the fucking game. Like, it's just so frustrating.
Yeah. It's
I was, like, having
man.
fun, right? I was having fun for those 2-3 minutes. I was like, man, okay. Like, Destiny really, you stepped up their game, and I was getting those, like, sweet kills and dominating, and then supers. I was like, well, let's fucking blows.
It's funny. So did you try playing? I know that you like controller. Have you plugged your controller in with Destiny?
I did not.
Yeah. It actually translates really well, and I think better than any PC game I've ever played. I'm way better on mouse and keys than a controller, but you know, my kids play on their controller, and it feels just like a PlayStation.
You know, I plugged it in because I was playing Borderlands on a controller. So I plugged it in, like, first loaded it up. And there's something about the bow and arrow that just felt really bad on a controller. So I just stayed.
Yeah, it could. I don't know. I didn't use it. Yeah. The bow has a really nice aim assist. And it feels good.
Yeah.
Like, but the way they tweaked it does feel good.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we'll derail from Destiny. I don't want to keep talking about it all night in an ARPG podcast, but I had fun with it. I liked it. I wish there was more content, but I definitely think that they're split from Activision. Man, those guys referenced that shit so much. Man, Kevin. So I keep wanting to call Kevin Smith Luke Smith. Luke Smith is like the creative director, basically the head guy at Bungie.
Sure.
At least public facing. He did this interview, and I don't know who it was with to reference it, but it was like an hour-long interview. And they just were asking some really cool questions, and he was talking about like how he got his position and got in the gaming scene, and it was super interesting. But in there, he keeps referencing like, he made a reference like we broke free, and it's just like what he's talking about, and like he's like, and now we're we're in control of our own destiny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just little things like that. But in this hour segment, there was probably like 10 of them. And you're just like, God damn, dude. Like, this guy can't emphasize enough. And that just makes you think, man. It's the same that goes, and that relates to Blizzard, though.
Sure.
It's like, it just, Activision, from what they're saying, it sounds like they're like, no, you have to do this. You have to have this.
And it wasn't until you pointed it out, because I always thought that like GGG took like the high road and never like threw shade at Blizz. But it wasn't until you played PoE and like the Einhar guy was like, do you not have nets, Exile? I was like, wow, I never even saw that.
Said what?
You not have nets, Exile. Like your character's in exile. That's what he's called.
Yeah.
And I said, do you not have nets?
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't know that was even. Yeah, I didn't know they threw shade at all.
They named that drop right after BlizzCon was called. They named the guys Immortals.
Yeah.
Man. Like. Dude, that was.
I just thought that was like.
No, they fucking renamed that, man. 100%. They're like, dude, let's call them. They were called like fucking Outcast or some shit,
or
right?
just the Syndicate, probably.
Yeah, our syndicates, and they're like, dude, let's name them Immortals. Let's name them Immortals. We got to. I promise that was legit, intentional.
Sure, yeah. But here,
when you go, dude, when you go, you got to do this for me. When you go to ExileCon, you got to talk to a dev and ask. You got to ask that.
Oh, if it's
we won't name them. We won't point them out. Just be like, yo, was the Immortal Syndicate rename? Was that for real? Was that like, is that shade?
Yeah. And that's what I'm excited. Like, when you ask me like BlizzCon, ExileCon, like ExileCon's, obviously PoE for 2 days, which is significantly more kind of hype.
That'd be like Diablo.
I can't see an opportunity where I don't get to talk to people that work there, which is fucking fantastic. That's the only reason I want like the media pass for BlizzCon. It's not even like, oh, recognize me. It's like, I want to have those conversations. I think that, especially as a developer myself, like I would love to have those conversations, and it would be amazing.
I mean, what if you get offered a job, dude? You better like, this a little bit.
I mean, fuck, New Zealand's beautiful.
I mean,
yeah.
If they're like, they're in New Zealand, right?
Yeah,
that's where they're at. Yeah, so they're like, hey, you want to move to New Zealand, take a job?
Sure.
You teasing?
Sure.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totes.
What if Lindsay's like, I don't want to?
She would.
What if she's like, I don't want to though?
No,
I don't want to leave the country.
She totes would.
He's like, I'd make her. I'd talk her into it.
No, she would. She totally would. She's looked into like traveling as a speech pathologist before, and
cool.
Yeah.
Maybe dope.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing before we get into Twitter questions.
Yeah.
Actually, we got two things.
Yeah.
But WoW had an update announced.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna briefly go over the notes.
Should we play the clip first, or
and then we'll talk about
Okay.
that. Okay. So 8.3 was announced, and it's the reason that I'm talking about this, and I think it's significant, is one, Quinn said something really funny, but two, why aren't they dropping this at BlizzCon?
Yeah. Yes.
Like BlizzCon's 3 weeks from now.
Yes.
Why are you dropping this now?
That's fascinating.
That makes me think that they're just going to drop the expansion. They wanted to get this out of the way.
They want to get out of the way because there's not enough room to squeeze it in at BlizzCon, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
So this is pretty big WoW news.
Yes.
And it didn't even make BlizzCon.
No.
So 8.3 is announced. They're calling it Visions of N'Zoth. There's going to be Titan Assaults, which if you ever played Legion, it's going to be very similar to how Legion had the assaults towards the end of Legion, where the map, there's going to be two places. I think it's going to be in the Vale, which is a Mista Pandaria place, which is, it's not BFA content, which is kind of cool. And then Uldum, which was a Cataclysm area. They're going to have assaults on those zones, and you have to go defend it. There's going to be lesser visions and horrific visions, which are like things you're going to go into. And it's kind of scalable 1 to 5 man content where it's kind of like a time race, but not exactly. You're fighting like a crazy meter. So the better you get at it and the more skilled you are, you can do better. So it's kind of a cool thing, I guess.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to, like, there's catch-up gear to get people back into it. There's a new raid that's dropping. A new mythic affix, which this is kind of cool, man. This I really wanted to talk about a little bit. They put an obelisk in that ports you to a realm. So you're inside a mythic dungeon, right? And you're kicking ass. And then you're going to see this relic in there, this obelisk in there, and you're going to click it. And it's going to take you inside a new area. And you have to go in and kill all the shit in the new area. And then it's going to port you out exactly where you were. If you don't do that, then when you go fight the boss, all the shit inside will summon and kill you. So isn't that kind of like the PoE style shit to me is what
like
it kind of feels like.
Content within a content.
Yeah. Like PoE had those things, like the rifts that would open and you'd have to go in and do the rift really quick and then it'd kick you out, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That seems kind of cool.
Is it?
I mean, I'm like,
is the
okay.
stuff in the rift new content or is it just more of the content you're in?
I think it's a different style.
Okay.
I think it's like this nightmare vision shit that's going on.
So like a new boss,
But
maybe?
I don't
like every
know.
dungeon kind of thing?
I don't know exactly yet.
Okay.
Like I just kind of watched briefly over the release notes. It looked like it was like this nightmare that's kind of this visions of N'Zoth is like a nightmare style theme. It looked like it was some nightmare theme stuff. So I think that's kind of cool though. That's a new mythic affix that's
content.
cooler than the other one.
Yeah.
Like the other ones they had is like, don't hit the guys when they're glowing, or it's like, kill them and they AoE explode. And like, this is actually something a little bit cooler in my opinion.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
all right. This is the big one. There's 2 new allied races.
Okay.
The Vulpera and the Mechanomes. All right.
Wow.
roll this clip, man.
So this is from 2 years ago? 2
years ago, Quinn said this on his stream.
Said
2 years
the following.
ago.
Have you seen the playable Vulpera race? It's not playable, dude. Stop fucking memeing on me, bro. I mean, dude. If Vulpera become a playable race, I'll eat my own ass on stream. Okay? Okay, I'm just telling you now that's for sure. Like, it's not going to be a playable race.
So, yeah. He says, if Vulpera become a playable race, I'll eat my own ass on stream.
On stream.
Which, I told him he should just go for it, right?
Just do it.
Just stream it. And you could shroud it.
Stream? Dude, his sub count would go up so much if he did a sub only stream for that.
And you could shroud it behind like social justice, like normalize breastfeeding. We could normalize #normalize self-ass eating.
I'm hungry, feeding.
Surely.
Self-feeding.
I mean, it's content, man. It's fucking content.
I thought that was pretty funny, dude. So
yeah. It's funny because there's so many clips like this, and it's great to live in an age where like everyone's always accountable kind of for what they said in the past. Where Brack was like, you think you want fucking classic, but you don't,
Yeah.
And like,
and then
of
we
course,
fucking did.
Yeah, and then we did, and then this now is resonating. Like, it's great. You got to know that Quinn's gonna have like 1,000 of these probably in the future because he says stuff like that, like eat my own ass. Like what? What does that even? What?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So that's the WoW news. So there, my biggest take from it was that it's not at BlizzCon. So
yeah,
WoW obviously is going to have a huge panel at BlizzCon.
Sure.
And if 8.3 is not good enough to make that panel, they're going to drop some shit. It's going to be expansion time for sure.
No doubt.
100%. And if they don't even want to save this for a side panel, I mean, there's got to be crazy juice. That means all the side panels are going to be taken up with new IPs.
New IPs? Is that what you said?
New IPs.
New
Diablo
mobile
4.
IPs. Sick.
Oh, God damn it. You got to put mobile in there. Yeah. And so that's all the WoW news. All right. We're going for a long time, but
yeah,
this episode of Fluff Hates
resonates.
We're gonna talk about home ownership.
Yeah. So, fucking home ownership, right? It's a pyramid scheme. It's absolutely 100% a pyramid scheme, right? So you get told your whole life, that buying a home is a good investment. You buy a home, you sink all your money into it. It's a fucking money trap. But then you tell people it's a good investment. So they buy a home. Mm-hmm. They tell their friends. They buy a home. It's all bullshit, okay? It's a fucking pyramid scheme. Homeownership sucks. It's a money pit no matter what. I never talked to someone that's bought a home that isn't at least like every once in a while mentioning like, oh, I got to do this weekend. Like, got to work on the home. Got to... like we had a leak in the attic, or oh shit, got to put new floors in. Like, it's bullshit. Yeah. It's absolute bullshit. I know your experiences right now.
Yeah. So, I got new flooring put in, like I talked about at the beginning. But when I ripped the old flooring up, I learned that the lazy bastard that installed my brand new dishwasher 2 years ago pinched the dishwasher line, and it had a pin needle drip. Let me tell you what a pen needle drip does to your house over 2 years. It fucking ruined my subflooring, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I had to rip out the floor, rip out the plywood, rip out some beams, and get that shit replaced, And I wouldn't have caught it. I mean, I guess it didn't even matter if I caught it at this point, So the damage is fixed, but yeah, man, it's always something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was in my master bathroom over the weekend, and I was looking in the mirror like I always do. And I looked up behind me, and I saw a spot on the ceiling. I was like, "What is that?" And so I got a little step ladder, and I just poked it, and my finger went through to the attic.
That drywall's got to be so wet.
It's
if your
super wet.
Just goes through it, dude.
It's soaked, and so I'm like, "What?" And so I finally go up. I've never been up into my attic because I'm like, it's a brand new house. They should always have to do this for me, but these guys are just not reliable guys, so I need to figure out what's going on. So I go up into the attic, and I probably should have had a mask on and stuff like that because I was coughing for the next 5 hours. But I go up there, and the ventilation pipe, I didn't know any of this. I'm Googling all of this as I do it because I'm the least handy guy you could possibly know. But the ventilation pipe to the attic or to the roof is leaking water. And so at first I'm like, well, this just needs to be sealed properly. But then the next day I was like, well, wait a minute. It's a ventilation pipe. Why is there fucking water in there? So
right.
they immediately came out and they fixed the pipe leak. I'm like, oh, thanks, But then these guys wouldn't even take that extra mile to be like, why is there water in here? Right? So it sucks that as a homeowner, I'm having to do that. They should be like, hey, you shouldn't have water in here. This is an air ventilation pipe. But instead I had to
when did this happen? This last weekend?
Yeah, just last weekend.
So what's your outcome? Have you
they
figured out why there's water in there?
They're going to get the roofers back out and figure out what's going on.
Just go get a bucket of water and just start pouring it on your roof. See if it,
Well, I can't get up. My roof is insanely high. Literally, just stupid high. There's no ladder I could even find that would reach the top of my roof.
Yeah, screw that, man. I'm not big on heights. I'm not scared of heights, but I'm not ecstatic about climbing on roofs either.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah, it's a thing. So, in this episode of Fluff Hates,
Homeownership.
Wanted to hit that home ownership real quick.
It's a fucking pyramid scheme, guys. Don't do it. Rent literally forever. Find cheap rent. Okay, this is the thing that's stupid. I did this. This was so stupid to me, right? So I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment before. I was splitting rent in half with Lindsay. I was paying $725 a month, and we split that in half.
Yeah.
So I was living for $360 a month. And then she's like, well, I don't like that I'm sleeping in the stream. Even though she could sleep through literally fucking anything. We buy a fucking house. And, my monthly payment goes up fourfold. Yes. No. But it's stupid because I should have stayed and leashed that situation until the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I was like, well, I looked at 2-bedroom apartments, and a 2-bedroom apartment in Kansas City is $1,200 for a decent one. And it's like, well, that's about the cost of a mortgage for a cheap house. So I guess I'll do that. And I was like, well, I found these brand new houses. That seems like a good deal. Nope. It's all a fucking pyramid scheme.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had a lot of huge, crazy issues with my house. But it's,
How often, I don't know. Maybe because I'm looking around, and my neighbor, he's super fucking paranoid. He's my real life friend. And so we've learned that they took a bunch of shortcuts. So he's always walking around the house, analyzing everything. And they gets me all riled up, and then we get all riled up and talk to the builder, and it's just this awful perpetual
Yeah,
thing.
you just got to stop, man.
Yeah.
You've already done. You know what I mean? Like, you've already spent the money. It's already yours. So just, you just gotta deal with it.
But he's
The
like,
cool
he's
thing
gonna
is
sue,
like,
and so like I get to see. He's like hired an engineer to like, come check out everything, and so like I see everything. The engineer's like, this is fucked. So I'm like, fuck.
well, I mean, if he's, get in on that then.
I've gone to court before in my life. I've never seen a situation where the person that's right wins in our judicial system. Another episode of Fluff Hates.
Oh my gosh. Let's get into some Twitter questions, man.
Let's do it.
Okay. If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, we tweet out, we're going live message every week on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, and you can see when those go out and add your question there, or you can drop them in our Discord.
And one thing I
First
will say is we had so many people. Well, it felt great. We had so many people that, I'm sure you got this too, that came into the stream and were like, where's this week's podcast? Where's this week's podcast? If you guys follow us on Twitter, you would know, so you know. But thank you for following anyway.
On the last podcast, I was like, come follow us on Twitter, and I think I got like 5 from that.
Oh, fuck. It's double what I got.
Yeah.
2.5, yeah.
2.5, yeah. Half a follower is the best.
It's sick,
right?
yeah.
Maester Major says, if Fluff's house burned down tomorrow and you needed a new podcast partner, who would you ask?
Wow.
And then Fluff the same question. Damn, dude.
Fuck, dude.
I don't know, man. Nobody. Can't replace Fluff.
Wow, that's really nice. I have a laundry list of people that I'd really like to work with. Let's see. No, I fucking have no idea. I have literally zero idea.
There are people that I like, but
yeah, the people we've had on as guests are all great. I just don't know that I would want to co-host a pod like every week. I don't know. Like the thing with me and P is like we're actually friends. You know what I mean? So it's like it's easier.
Yeah, like somebody's in the chat's like Quinn. Well, like of course Quinn's an awesome dude, but it's
he's
like
super busy. Yeah,
he's super busy and
I'd be doing it by myself, which is no bueno.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But yeah, I don't. There's honestly, I don't think I would.
I'll go with Dr. Disrespecting. I mean, sure. Yeah, he'll just Ninja. He'll totally do it.
Ninja and talk about Mixer all day. Speaking of this, I'm gonna side tangent really quick. Okay, so I guessed at TwitchCon had Blink 182 performing.
Okay.
Pretty fucking awesome, right?
Sure.
Okay. So the lead singer from Blink, I can't remember. It's not Travis. It's Travis is a drummer. I don't know his name. He's up there, and in between sets, he goes, hey guys, I just want to say one thing. Fuck Mixer. And then that's it.
That's awesome.
And then he like, starts rocking out again, right?
Yeah.
And then so then fast forward to like the next day, and Ninja's doing his stream, and he's got somebody in. They're like, yo, did you see that thing that Blink? He's like, Blink did that thing. And Ninja had the same response. He goes, oh shit, man, they had Blink 182 at TwitchCon. That's badass. And they're like, oh, did you see what he said? And he's like, nah, what'd he say? And they're like, oh, here. And then they showed him the clip. And then Ninja's like, man, fuck Blink 182. He's like, I feel like that was a dig at me. Like, why would they even say that? You know what I mean? He's like, that was like unwarranted. And he goes on this rant. And then he's like, he said he's going to take all Blink 182 out of his playlists and shit. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But like, that's funny. I thought that was
hilarious.
Funny,
yeah.
So Microsoft probably didn't. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sure. Big Unit 20 says, do you guys think there could be any chance Blizzard embraces the meme around Diablo Immortal at BlizzCon? If Blizzard can make fun of themselves, I think it could help their image. Absolutely not.
What? No, okay. Absolutely help their image. Absolutely.
I'm saying absolutely they will not support it.
Yes.
Would it? Yeah, man. I think if they had Wyatt do it. If Wyatt was up there talking about something, does it have to be Immortal? I think that's his baby.
Sure.
So if he's up there talking about Immortal, and he was like, I don't know. They threw something up on the screen, and they can make it funny. Sure. It could flop really bad too, though.
Yeah.
So, but no, absolutely not. They will not even acknowledge it. That's not Blizzard's style, man.
Sure. They're all like come out on stage and they're like they have their phones in their hands and they're like, hey.
Yeah,
this
they
out.
could do something like that, and it would be people would probably cheer or laugh or something.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
So
Maybe.
yeah. Deathbane says, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be and why?
I mean, I don't know. Like I was
Those aren't
okay, yeah.
podcast friendly.
No, what? What do you mean? What'd you do? Who did
nothing,
Who
I'm
did
just
you
saying.
murder? Like, what do you?
I
mean?
didn't murder anybody.
Wow. Does this have to do with that letter that your wife read out loud?
No, that's a good one too, though. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, so everything that has happened to me has like shaped who I am. So I don't know if like poof, me showing up, and like changing history of myself would be great. Like I don't know that I would tell myself.
I would say I would tell myself to start streaming 4 years before
yes,
I did.
or invest in fucking like go back when I'm like 2 and be like, hey, invest in Apple.
Yeah, exactly. There were so many times where I was going to start streaming like years and years and years ago, and I'm like, I just didn't. I don't even know why I didn't. I just didn't.
Yeah.
And I really regret that. I think that, maybe my career would be worse than it is now. I don't know, but I feel like it would have been good for me.
Sure.
So,
I mean, a lot of this is right place, right time, and
yeah, a whole bunch of it. I feel like.
home buy a
let's see.
house. Yeah, there you go.
Don't buy a house. Yeah.
Just go back like 8 months
Don't
ago.
have that fat ass dude install my dishwasher.
There you go.
Yeah. Fear the Deer says, I would love to hear discussion regarding the new sets, how they could be designed, and your thoughts on stated quality of life changes. Would Paragon change be considered a quality of life change? That's a whole loaded question.
That's a big question.
That's a big question. I can generically answer it by saying I would love to see the sets be designed around abilities and skills that don't require button spamming, that are more playable. Like an example would be Archon Wizard. Archon Wizard, you don't have to spam any buttons for real on cooldown. So something like that. And then use skills that are underutilized that maybe have drastically different play styles than what we're used to.
Yeah.
100%.
And, we talked about this a bit in our Necro posts on the Blizzard forums, which you guys should check out. But like pushing Necro towards not using Land of the Dead, like specifically because of the set, like, and using some of those really cool looking skills like, the blood corpse explosion or, some of the runes that just will never ever get used. 100% would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see the runes and skills that there are probably runes and skill combinations that I've never used ever in my life.
Yeah.
And I would like to see, and there's got to be statistics on the amount of people that equip and maybe use those. Grab some of those ones that have just never been used and just make them fucking amazing. Make them be like, oh shit, that's so cool.
Do you think, I think people would not like it, but I think I kind of would. Do you think if they had next seasonal theme, like say they had nothing in the pipeline, right? Next seasonal theme is season of 2K Paragon capped. Do you think that would go over well?
I think a lot of the non-hardcore people would love it. I think the guys that are smashing the 150s the first weekend, they're going to probably not even play. They'd boycott. You know what I mean? I think it would entice me to play more. Because I'd be like, okay, I'm going to hit 2K Paragon.
Yeah. Grind some rats for a couple
grind
weeks.
It out and then see what's up. The botters would still have an advantage with better
gear
rolls
quality, right?
Gear quality. But the gap wouldn't be as big. It would definitely shrink the gap.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun. Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, why not?
Sure.
What could it hurt, right?
Right. That's what we've always said, though. Like, just try it. Like, try to cap Paragon for one season. Like, what do you have to lose?
If they do it one season and nobody plays, then
don't just revert it. Okay.
It was
Lesson
not
learned.
a good thing.
People
My
don't
bad.
like it.
Good thing it was the season.
Right.
So, James asked, after the bullet train ride we all took last year, are you finding yourself getting back on the hype train yet?
We know P is.
Listen, I'm telling you, D4 is dropping. I'm telling you. Calling it.
You know, I'm honestly like I'm kind of going into it with the same mentality. Really, is like hope for the best but expect the worst, and that's kind of like how I went to it last year.
I don't see how it could be worse than last year.
Yeah,
And that being said, I still had a great time. We got to hang out, got to meet a lot of content creators that were cool. I had a great time. It was fun. I can't imagine how fun it would be if we would have got a D4 announcement.
sure.
Being my first BlizzCon,
Yeah.
I don't think this one would still even quite be that hype, but it'll be fun. Like, I'm gonna have a great time either way. But yeah, man, I'm hyped. I'm super hyped. I think Diablo 4 is gonna happen. My hype train's not there yet because I haven't seen it though. Like, if they show us some footage and we get to see, like, what if we got to play a demo, dude?
Of D4.
What if they did? You know, we got to play Immortal and then it was just Ghost for the whole rest of the year.
Yeah.
What if that was Diablo 4? We get to play a demo and then they just don't
Say anything.
show us shit for another year.
Yeah.
Like,
Did they do
that would
anything
keep-
with Classic WoW between like announcement and the BlizzCon where it was a demo?
They betaed it a lot for people.
Did
Yeah. But it was closed beta. You had to like know somebody or be big streamer to get in, you know? I think for a big majority of it. That's a different, I don't know, man. Maybe Diablo falls in the same category. Classic had no appeal to me
Sure.
to play it outside of launch because all that progress you made in that game is so much of a grind to level and gear out. I didn't like, why am I going to invest all that time to throw it away? You know? So it didn't appeal at all. But Diablo 4 would for me. I'd play that regardless. Even if they were going to throw my character away, I'd play the shit out of it. So
Yeah. They would never give me beta. But
no, you would never get beta at all.
I didn't get Necro beta,
I didn't either.
which is
I didn't get it either.
yeah.
So
But I was
one of my friends
pretty much
got it
nobody
though.
for Necro. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually played my friend's account a little bit because he got it. We'll have to. One of our community guys would have to hook us up, and then we'd have to put a overlay on the screen to block out the name.
Yeah.
You know, so they couldn't see who it was.
Yeah.
Arresta says D4 or more. You got phones this year at BlizzCon. So
What?
He's saying, are we gonna get D4? Or are we gonna get more Immortal? I guess.
We'll definitely get more Immortal. I think that's a certainty.
Think they're gonna talk about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
After D4,
like, listen to
after
that.
the D4 announcement, they'll talk about it.
No, I would say like you read this Brack thing, like he's still peddling the mobile experience. Still. So
I don't think it's going to be a side stage announcement and discussion.
it's like we said, is like, do you have any control? No, they don't. They have to peddle what Activision wants them to peddle, which is the mobile genre. So yes, we're gonna see more phones stuff.
You think it's main stage?
Yes.
They got to do it after D4. They have to, man.
I mean, I don't think that there's any situation where if it's just a D4 trailer that they don't get booed still. I don't think there's a lot of situations where if they talk about Immortal that they don't get booed. And I'm not trying to be toxic. I'm not trying to encourage anyone to boo if you're there. I just don't see it because people want to hate Immortal even if it's a great game. Like people want to troll Blizzard about this Immortal fiasco. I hate to say it out loud, but I almost feel. Do you feel like maybe a little threatened this year, maybe at BlizzCon, because there's some fucking crazies out there, right? I don't know.
They never think about that, honestly.
Yeah.
But, fuck. Hope not.
I mean, there's a lot of weirdo, crazy gamers, right? And so,
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope they step up security this year.
Yeah, hope so too. I mean, I feel threatened that if they boo again, they're gonna kick us out. And
Kick
like,
everyone
"Oh, you
out?
suck." No, just me and you.
Just me and you.
Yeah.
Get that fluffy guy out of here. He caused the bill.
Hey, what the fuck? Hey, you in that podcast with him? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. They just pick me out of for sure. Yeah. That's my fault, 100%. Not what was asked or how it was responded to, but the question was why people booed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Your fault.
for sure.
Yeah, which was a legitimate question because you can port mobile games to Windows PC, by the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Did we ever talk about that you really could legitimately do that?
Yeah, I mean, you can use BlueStacks to
Yeah.
play.
No. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like in the Windows 10 app section, like Windows 10 as a store,
Sure.
there are legit mobile games
Uh-huh.
like that are just part of like you can install it on Windows, like it's a Windows PC game. They could just port it like that, and then you could still play it with the mouse and keyboard.
Sure.
You know?
But like, obviously, I meant like an official port.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where
Yeah.
it wouldn't look like,
A mobile game.
stretched like on a PC screen and look like shit.
I mean, I gotta imagine they're rendering all their textures in like a billion resolutions. They could just throw a package that's 1080p, 4K, 1440.
But you
whatever.
couldn't because like the screen size it's designed for is
The
it could be smaller.
Aren't iPhones exactly like the iPhone Pluses, the 6 Plus, 7 Plus, 8 Plus? They're like straight up 1080p, 1920 by 1080, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's like pixels per inch or something. Like, so if you stretch the image, it's less quality, even if it is.
No. Yeah, it's pixels per inch because the screen's so small, but it's still 1920 by 1080 resolution. Still the same aspect. You know what I mean?
But I wonder then if it's a matter of if it is on the big screen and you can notice all the details, it just looks like shit, or
I don't know. I don't know, man.
yeah. Because I can't imagine a world like I mean, I fully plan on people give us shit for this, but I fully plan on streaming Diablo Immortal, even if it's for the memes. It's a Diablo experience.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check it out, and so
I probably will too, just for a day or something or two,
And
just
so
because.
I can't imagine any world where I'd actually legitimately play the experience as it was intended, like on my phone, and then like I'm trying to interact with chat, and like I get a text from Lindsay, and it's like a sexy text or something. Like and it pops up on the screen. It just sounds terrible. So,
Oh my god, how funny would that be? You get a sext in the middle.
Yeah,
in
you
the
just
middle
get banned.
of your Diablo stream. She's like, "When are you coming to bed?"
Yeah. So, yeah,
You're like,
I'm obviously gonna find a way to play it on PC because that seems weird. But
that's funny.
yeah,
Super funny. Chat's like wishing they're like everybody's gonna tune in for that stream. They're like, "Yo, Lindsay, text them. Go text them." So, that's it, man.
Easy.
That is all of the questions.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could sext them too.
Yeah.
I would. 100%.
You know how many daily DPs I get from ThaPChild? It's insane. And all the filters. He loves the filters.
Oh my god. Yeah, the little makeup with the stars and shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You wouldn't think the facial recognition would pick that up, but it does really well.
There was a Snapchat Diablo filter, like last year for BlizzCon, I think.
Really?
Something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
even
took
know
a
that.
picture of it. Yeah, I'll have to find it.
Fucking Snapchat.
But I was like, oh, cool. So I have a picture of me with like Diablo face or something. Maybe it was WoW. I thought it was Diablo though. All right.
That's content.
I will catch you guys next week for episode 72. If you want to find more of
72.
me. I'm ThaPChild everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.
Yeah. I'm Lord_Fluffy, double O's underscores on the Twitters. We'll see you guys next week.